La di da di da, whatever. We're starting Edith. Right. There she is. You know, my chick one too. Thank God for that. That fucking took ages, man. Fucking bullshit. I'm so hot, man. I don't care, man. It's rated 18. What the fuck? I'm so hot. I'm dead, you know. Alright, what's this one? Is it this one? Come on, load up, bitch. What's it loading for? It's not even online. What the fuck? This game is so good, man. The story it tells is so good. I just need to know where to go from here. Can't go out there yet. Must be through that hole. Hey, you boring twat. Back off. Cool.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
This is the next one. Let's go.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
This game is so good.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, "We don't need a stepmom," were the words that
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Firstly, who flies a kite in the middle of a wedding? something I should be doing here, or?
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to
Come here.
But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Whoa. Okay.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
The fuck?
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
And that's that story, okay.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Blech. Next. What the fuck? That's Mummy's room. Climb, it's a fucking mini wall, come on. Aha, that's
My
the
mom
way.
moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Well, don't do that, don't do that.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
You're kidding me, innit? No way up. Oh.
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family. Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Is that a drawing on the wall behind me? Yeah, it is. That's behind me, that door.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Oh, he disappeared. I bet I can find him. He drew a door. I know he did.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
Oh, it's just a door. He drew this door and then escaped. That's what I know that.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out. Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself.
I think I'm approaching the end.
After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room.
I wonder
Except
why.
Lewis.
I want to go in Lewis's room. Whoa.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Give me that boy! Yeah! The fun room, yeah, man. The bun room. Oh, you gotta get this game, man, to play it from the beginning. It's such a fucking good game.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Oh, a fish. I thought I was killing someone.
He kept working at the cannery. But he withdrew part of himself.
I didn't notice that.
In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to...
Began to what?
wander.
Well, don't put your hand in that machine, will you? That won't be good. I'm confused. What are you doing? Oh,
I asked him to describe it.
I'll do this at the same time.
He said he started small, imagining a
This is how-
labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved.
Right, we're piling up with too many fish now. Come on, mate. Fucking hell. Can you just stop? Give me a job on that.
Bats. And toads. And things that have not names.
I cannot see.
He knew it was all in his head.
Oh, this is gonna. Oh.
But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
Oh, this is annoying because I've got to do these fish to see it.
But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss.
I'm gonna
But he
lose my
said
hand.
Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused.
Because I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing, I'm looking at both at the same time.
Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topi.
What?
He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
Bear in mind, I'm still chopping fish here, so.
And songs for them to play.
Yoga?
He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannon,
What is going on?
but his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him.
struck me.
At all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination,
I knew that.
so he could do whatever he wished.
I want that one.
He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on. In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a
Beautiful prince.
beautiful prince. The prince was on his own quest for radiant rainbows.
Yeah.
He followed the sound of his silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it.
What the fuck?
In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
The fish of all fish.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Louis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
He's just basically imagining.
My
his-
imagination is as real as my body, he told me.
Yeah.
It was hard to argue with him.
Oh, back here. Don't give up your day job. Oh, this must be me. Whoa.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Could run, that'd help.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Finger? Vince? Is that me? Is this me? Am I looking at myself? You're not doing nothing there, mate. I'm going up.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him. Waiting, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do.
Yeah, that cat's my cat, he died. I don't know why he's there like that.
Bend down his head.
No, hold on a minute.
I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Wow. That was his story. Shit.
My brother was really cool. I wish you
All
could
the
have met him.
drawings are the ones that I've done. There's loads, man. It's actually well good. About some of the stories. It actually makes you think, what? How do I get out there now? Push. Oh.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
What happened that night?
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Edith, this is the last one. This is me, I think. Well, it's exciting. Got to fill in my bit, yeah?
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
I'm amused.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance, or that Edie had a key to it.
Whatever happened to Edith?
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
History of the Finches by Eddie Finch.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
I think she left the stream because she don't want to watch the ending.
But
She wants to
when
play
I
it.
saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine!
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again.
Damn, man.
The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it,
I'm trying to blow it with my...
but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly.
How did you do that? She-craft.
She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you.
Me?
I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you.
No.
But now I hope you'll never see it.
Where am I? Am I in some
I
sort
just
of
want to
fucking
meet you.
womb?
And tell you all these stories.
Oh, cool, she's
myself.
26 weeks pregnant.
But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
She said she was 26 weeks pregnant. What?
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask,
I am that child.
but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Wow. Joshua Safati, Technical Director, Chelsea Hash, Lead Technical Artist, Brandon Martin Norwicks, Lead Artist, Chris Bell, Lead Designer. What a good game this was, I suppose. Damn, the ending though, man, it's gutted. Oh, there's the frick. The Anna Interactive. That bowl cut, dude. Looks like me when I got paid one. Oh, what a good game. Sweet Amoeba for that follow, man. What's that then? What's that? Oh, oh, good man.